Okay, let's go to our receiver. Yeah, we can't really see the insides, which is fine. Let me try ambient occlusion over here really quick. Really quickly, we don't need this anymore. Oops. So now, if I go ahead and, let's see, add an ambient occlusion. Ambient occlusion inside and mix it with this. I don't think this works, but let's see if it does. The factor, actually this is going to go into the factor, and the dust or grime can be something like this. Oops. Like this, and we can just move this here, and let's say that we want a nice yellow. Wow, that does not look good. I don't know. Inside only local. I don't know, I've never used this before. Let's just delete this. We can go ahead and instead that looks fine. I am concerned of our car in the background staying there. Actually, if it keeps moving, then that's fine. Then we don't have a problem. Yeah, they do keep moving, so it's fine. I think I'm done now. Ready for my second test render. So let's go ahead and check if we covered all the... Oh yeah, I downloaded this. I forgot about this. Maybe you can have this going on. Yeah, but no. Pretty much done everything that I needed to do at that point. The lighting has been decreased. And the rain, does the rain look alright? I kind of think it looks too big, I'm not sure. Either it's too big or it's too, I don't know, streaky. It looks kind of cool though. But yeah, we need to change our person in the background, because this guy back here, where is he showing up on? We can see him at this point, and he starts to run and then hides himself. If he moves over here, we start to see him way before that. I could add him in the background even further away. I could add him jogging like this way across the scene. Like over here. Maybe crossing the streets really quickly or something. So like when he starts his animation, he should be in the scene. Or he should be running out of the scene. You know what? Let me just rotate him 90 degrees and put him back in the background. We don't need him. He's just an extra. If we see him, we see him. If we don't see him, we don't see him. See, we kind of see him here, starts jogging a bit, and he stops his animation, goes behind that. We don't see him. We don't see him. That's fine. It'll do. Okay, back to our render. That's fine. We fix this. This will be swinging. I hope the swinging looks okay. Actually, let me check it in real time really quick. So if I go ahead and just shift H this and go to our camera and see it in 30 FPS. Alt H, and let me keep our telephone booth as well for perspective. Let's see. That looks pretty decent, I think. I hope it shows up well on my rendered view, on my material view. 25 frames per second, that's fine. Yeah, that gives such a nice effect. That's good. That passes our test. Well, why can't we stop it? Okay, save that and return everything. Oops. Gonna go ahead and hit render now. And then we can go ahead and check out the next render. Hopefully the next test render will be a-okay, and we can go ahead and render it out in full. Yeah. We could actually maybe give a bit more margin to this and give it a 21:9 ratio. So it's cinematic widescreen. That would really look pretty cool, I'd say. Let's go ahead and try it right now. So instead of this, save that, and we're ready to render everything, right? At 50 and everything. Let's go ahead, and the aspect ratio is supposed to be 21:9. Whoa. Definitely not that. The other alternative is if I quickly grab a calculator and 21:9 into 1920, we get 4480. No. 22:9 into 1080. 2640. So 2640. That's cinematic widescreen, bro. And with the black bars, that would look pretty nice. And we can actually manage to see our whole scene even with this. Still keeps everything in focus. We can't see the legs. That's about it. How about we give it a test render with just this on frame 1, 200, 240. Let's give it a test render on frame 270. So we can also check out our background on Eevee even. Save that and test render on Eevee, just to see how our cinematic thing looks. It might look viable, and we could always crop it in post as well, although, but if I want to be able to see the whole telephone booth, then I will have to zoom out just a bit. So I'll show you this, and I'll show you the test render in just a bit. So we have a quick render, 51 seconds, Eevee render. Now, whoa, these droplets do not look good. Maybe it's something to do with Eevee's motion blur. I don't know what's wrong with it, but widescreen does definitely look epic. It makes it so much more epic, and we could just cut it out in the end, I guess. Let's try another one on frame 80 on slot number 4. And the rain, about the rain, I think I'll go ahead and check that out and see if I need to maybe decrease the particle size, or maybe the shape of the drop is too maybe sharp. But the material is looking fine. We'll see. So only 26 seconds on Eevee. So I guess on frame 80 our light is going to be almost close to 0. Maybe we should put a lower limit of like 5 on it, so I don't want it to be completely dark. And cinematic does look cool, although we won't be able to see our ground surface, and these splodges look horrible. Let's go ahead and give it another render on cycles this time and see if that makes a difference. So this is our render with 4 minutes on cycles, so you see the difference. The rain is definitely not as good, so we can't really use this rain in Eevee, but in cycles it's fine-ish looking, better looking anyway. And plus this weird artifacting, and Eevee does not have these lights, which actually look nice. Same with the reflections, they look way better in cycles. Don't know what this is. Oh, you can actually still see this in Eevee. It's dark, but you can still see the telephone box. Let's change this to anything above 0, and let's change this back to 1920. I like this, but whoa, that looks so weird now all of a sudden. I liked it nice and wide. Okay, let's go and set the graph editor to limits on our power, and let's see, not 0, how about, how many watts? At least 5, I'd say. At least a 5-watt light, or 10 even could be okay, but 5 is fine as a minimum. That would give us some light at least. Some. Okay, and I'm gonna save it here, but I'm just gonna check if I can maybe move my camera back from here, just so I can 20 to 40 was it, just so I can see a little bit more of my scene. Something like this. It's not much of a difference. You can see the whole tree and the fire hydrant, and that's fine. And if I just move that here, then we can keep the same animation. Everything else can stay the same. But it looks even weirder now because there's such a dramatic change of the scene. So I could move this back a bit as well, and it won't really matter. Location rotations, so something along these lines with the cinematic perspective. and finish on here, so that way it doesn't look as weird, I'd say. Yeah. Okay, let's give it a test render, like the proper test render, I mean. And we'll go ahead and keep this. Let me just go ahead and do another render on this, and we'll keep this cinematic setting of 22:9 and render it out and compare it with our changes and everything. Okay, so our render is done, and we did it on 22:9, so 2520 by 1080, and you can actually use 720p, it's fine. This looks pretty good. It looks really nice and cinematic, I'd say. And using the rule of thirds, if you know what that is, it's a photography rule, I'd say, in which you divide your scene into thirds and 3 parts vertically and horizontally, and your main object is supposed to be in one of the extreme thirds. That's basically the gist of it. Anyway, so our telephone booth is fine. I set the minimum intensity to about 5, so I guess this is 5, and this looks fine. Looks better than nothing, which we had over here. So wait a second, this is even wider, I feel. This is even wider. Oh yeah, I think we used some other dimensions before. I could give this a quick save as 1, and then save as 2, and then if we go ahead and check this out, we have our render. This is of 1320 by 540, so that's half of it, and this one is 1260. So basically 1260 and 1320. So 1320 times 2 is, I'm too lazy right now, times 2 is 2640. 2640 is what we were using before, and I think I like this one anyway, because this is the real 22:9. This is too wide. Anyway, I decided to do another render with the intensity of these decreased. Not the intensity, actually, we had this at 0.6. I reduced the radius because I felt like the light was shining way too much and bleeding into the scene, when in fact this is not supposed to be such a bright light. So I decreased it, so it just gives a little bit of an effect, and I guess we can see this better. I'm not sure which looks better, actually. Maybe somewhere in between these. We'll see. Our last render was on this. This makes it kind of dark. Everything is dark. I guess I'll give it like a 0.5, something in between, and do another quick render on that. But apart from that, our cinematic scene looks really nice. So we are done, and not much difference in the two. I'm going to keep it on 0.5 though, and I'm just going to go ahead and render it, and I think I'll render it in a new folder. First we had test renders. Let's go ahead and name it preview, accept 8200 3 frames. Now if I change this back, so 2520, if I make this back to 1980, I guess that'll widen it up. That's weird. 2520, and this should go to, let me see, 25 so 16 divided by 9 into, wait a second, 9 divided by 16 into 2520, 1417. So let's say 1420. Oh, this is the same thing. Good. So this is the same as this, so I'll keep it 1920. When we cut it out, it'll be something like 1080 by 785, so that's actually 720p, which is okay, I guess. Yeah, it'll take less time to render anyway. So we'll keep it 1920, and we have a nice frame, and we'll just cut it out in post if we don't like it. We can see this area though, so we now have to keep it. Speaking of, I think we can see a little bit of this, so I'm going to go ahead and extend that by duplicating these two and moving it right here, just so it covers this area that we might need. Alternatively, I could have just scaled this up, I guess. Doesn't matter, because we are done. Now we are done. Now we're actually done. It doesn't matter that it's too dark. We don't need to see this part anyway. There is nothing here anyway. We don't even need lights in here. We don't need any kind of focus on this part of the scene unless it's black. Doesn't matter. It's only for a second and then we are out, right? In 5 frames. We're out of the area and rendered. Okay, let's just hit render then. Cycled it is. Motion blur is fine. Oh yeah, let me go ahead and check the rain real quick. Those raindrops are massive. Let me see if I can compare it to this. So a raindrop near this is too big. Is this a raindrop or what? Definitely need smaller rain. Need to delete all bigs on this and get scale to 0.01, 0.02. Yeah, it's still pretty big, but that is better, I'd say. Probably need to do another test render just to make sure that the rain looks all right. But I'll just go ahead and render it right afterwards. So let's see how it looks after it's rendered. Okay, so let's go ahead and import our rendered sequence into our scene and see just how this looks. Don't know what this is. Close this. Yeah, that's fine. So here we have it. If I just zoom in, this is our scene, and let's go for a preview. So we changed the flashing light in the background, the Empire. We changed the flickering lights inside the phone booth. We made the receiver swing. We changed the particle size of the rain, and we got this woman in the front. I believe that's all the changes we made. So looking at the smallest thing first, if this renders properly. Okay, so let's look at this light in the background first. It's like a slow glow in, glow out sort of an effect, which is fine. And the lighting inside the it looks kind of high on the frequency, something more like a haunted tunnel inside a space station or something, like a alleyway. I don't know why this light is flickering. Maybe its electrical connection got short-circuited or something, but maybe I should decrease the frequency of this. Yeah, just a bit, nothing too much. We don't need to re-render it or anything. Just change the frequency on this a little bit. Now we have this swinging. Let's go ahead and render this out real quick so we can see the fluid motion instead of having it lag like this. Here it is. Now, the next thing we're looking at is the motion, the swinging motion of this. Looks pretty cool, I think. Let me go ahead and set this on repeat. Options. After playback. What do you mean do nothing? Okay, so we don't have a repeat. Anyway, so it's moving. You can kind of tell it's moving. It's kind of slow, I think. It's moving too slowly like this. Yeah, need to increase the speed of this just a bit. And you can't really tell that it's twisting as well as much. So maybe have it rotate a bit more. That's about it. The lighting on this looks good. Let's see. Our first frame, the lighting is good. You see this part, nothing is getting cut out, hopefully, in the four corners. This woman is walking with an umbrella, with a pretty good umbrella, and that's fine. This guy, oops, we see him, so we need to put him behind the telephone booth over here. And this guy is running. Yeah, it kind of chops off, but I guess it doesn't matter. The rain, I'd say, looks a bit better now. It's not as big, and it's kind of subtle, and you can see this nice reflections. I love the cars. The cars are good. All of them are good to go. And in the background, let's just go to the last frame here. Yeah, nothing's getting cut off. We see this nice glow, which is from the street light and the lights in the background. That's fine. That all looks good. The leaves, I could put the leaves on myself, I guess, because I really can't see the leaves. Or the white spots, come to think of it. We added some white spots. Dots that I can't see. Let me check if I can sell, if maybe I, so we need to make these few changes, and yeah, that's about all right. The bus stop is fine. The woman walking behind is fine. Hopefully it's not. Oh wait, her umbrella is going through the, maybe move her back a bit or move her forward a bit. And the camera movement is a lot better. I didn't realize it was off. That's why I guess I didn't pick it up in the first time. The angle, the movement is better now. It kind of gives us a bit more of a reveal, and along with the little bit of camera shake. Even if it's too much, we can cut it somewhere around the 5-second mark. And adjust it maybe according to our scene. But that looks like, compared to this one, it's way too still, like cinematic. It looks okay, but I guess that's why it looked odd. And the telephone wasn't moving. Too much of a close-up as well. And the rain is kind of huge. So that's why I think this one looks better. And we gave ourselves enough room so we can cut out the top and the bottom for the black bars and still have everything in view of our 21:9 aspect ratio. So let's go ahead and make these changes and then render out the final video. And I think we'll keep this on and make the final changes and render out and move on to post-processing. That's 20 to 30% of the work. Okay, so we're in Blender now, and I was just looking at this preview and comparing it with the one in Premiere Pro, and I realized that my media player is showing in a lighter tone, or maybe my Premiere Pro is showing in a darker tone. I don't know. Maybe it's some kind of issue, or I don't know why there's such a difference, but even on the same frame it should look the same, but it doesn't. I like this one though, nice and dark, gloomy. This is what we're gonna get in post. But before we go into post, we will need to take a look at the render layers. So let's go ahead and change what we needed to change. Let's see. Let's go ahead and open this up and fix the woman interacting with our bus station. So she's just about here. That's good. Not too less, not too much. And she can walk on her way. That's fine. That won't make much of a difference. Second, this guy back here needs to move according to our situation. Let's see. We only see him for a split second here, like 80, and then he moves out of the situation over here. You can continue walking, that's fine. I don't want this though. Let me go ahead and delete this. I want to paste this right about here. So copy this and paste. I hope that doesn't make a mess. So he's behind, oops. He's behind the scene here, he's walking and he transitions. He's not transitioning. Weird. Let me just go ahead and Okay, so we need it to go back about there. Let's go ahead and copy all this and then delete these and then paste these back. So he's moving and then he moves to his original position and he keeps walking throughout the scene. Since he's gonna stop walking, let's push him out of the scene, which means he's walking here. See him walking. And when does he do the transition? Let's see. We don't see him over here. So we don't see him here, so we can just move these along. Pause him in place, and then when we're about to see him here, he can just continue walking. And he's walking. He moves here. Damn. That's not good. I need to move this point somewhere about here. Let me go ahead and undo it till we deleted the keyframes. It's a bit of a nuisance. Instead of just having a longer walk cycle, at least 100 frames walk cycle, I guess, or 200. Okay, so let's delete this, and we have the normal walk cycle. Let me just go ahead and check if he's actually walking. Yeah, he's walking, and there he walks. So if we move him out of the scene by 280, he is out of the scene by 280, I guess. So then if we copy all this and we paste it, I see. I need to move him up a bit. So now we can see him walking, and he's out of the scene here. So we copy this and delete this and paste. So now he's back in the walk cycle, and we can see him walking, and he stops walking. We can move this along. So it resets back just before he's about to come out, somewhere around there. So he walks into the telephone booth, and then he comes out of the telephone booth, and then it doesn't matter if he stops for a second, I guess. He's drunk. So let me see if he is in fact. He's moving, and then he moves slowly backwards, and then moves back. So in our scene, he's moving, moves slowly backwards, and then he continues walking, and he just continues walking, and then that's fine. That'll do. This guy is fine, so we have fixed 3 of our characters. Doesn't matter about him. The cars were fine. What else do we need to fix? The road was fine. Oh yeah, the road. What's wrong with the road again? The swinging movement and the light needs to go down just a bit. So the noise needs to come down just a bit. So 85, nope, keep that. Scale that out from 5, let's say 10. Or I guess 10's fine. It could go up and down a bit. It's not gonna be like light off. It's gonna be like a little bit of a stays low and then goes back up and then maybe stays up as well. Maybe we can have it stay up as well. Maximum on 50 or 20. If we have it on 20, does that make it stay up more? Yeah, so let's have it on 50 or 50 and then increase this, not this can stay at 10. Increase this to like 100. Where's 50? That's a lot. How about 40? And increase this to like 150. Stays up. Still doesn't make much sense actually. But I guess that's fine. And also need to go back to timeline and this, we need to adjust these. So it's too slow, so let's make it 30. Let's make it 80 to 110 and 110 to 140, which means it's quicker. And same with this. You can just move these to 110 and these to 140. That means it's moving quicker, and rotation should be maybe a bit more. It's fine, but you know, sometimes you can't see it as well. But that's fine, we made it a little bit quicker. Okay, so we fixed that. And we will copy our leaves and shift D them and take them out of our collection main scene, and then we can place these in our scene as we see fit. So let's go ahead and go to viewport shading mode, and let's place a few of these, and then we check our ground texture as well. think that's pretty much it on the changes. The umbrella, the light flickering needs to be a bit less. This needs to move a bit faster. I'd say this is moving a bit too slow. Lights actually look alright, I guess, the flickering. But I made it a little less obvious and put a few leaves down here somewhere. Change this guy's animation because he was not working well. This guy is fine. And Nikon looks fine, I guess. Ringo looks fine as well. So does the background. I think that's it. That is it on our scene. Let's see if we can put these in a better position. Weird. It doesn't really look like a leaf, so it doesn't really make sense. And I can see the spots over here. I just can't see them in the render for some reason or other. These are way too big. Let's go ahead and render that and see if we can see it. It's too dark to see it. Why is it too dark? Why is this scene so dark? Yeah, I guess it doesn't really make sense to do so much effort for a leaf or two. But we should be able to see the spots. And I guess with the lighting, you just can't see the spots. Or do they even render? Even if we change the angle, we should be able to see them. If we can't, that means there is some issue or the other. So we can't see the spots. That's weird. Scene looks so weird here. I guess with all the reflection you can't really see the spots, especially in the dark. But maybe with higher texture resolutions and a higher higher resolution, because we're on 50% right now, we'll be able to see these spots fine. Can't see them here, but that's fine. You can't even see them here. maybe in the last few seconds. Could go ahead and make them a little bit sharper. Let's see, what did I mix this with? If I change this to white. No, that's not gonna help. Clamp. That's definitely not gonna help. I could increase the brightness of this with a hue and saturation. Increase the value to 2. Let's see. Just a bit brighter, I'd say. Can we see them any better now? Because we want to be able to see all the details and all the effort we put into the scene. That's better, I say. Stronger. You can definitely tell there's some spots in here now. Maybe a bit too much, I'm not sure. I guess with the depth of field you can't really tell as much anyway. But we do find a little bit of the spots. I think that's fine. It's not too bad. Save that. So have we fixed everything? We checked the leaves, the spots, the movement, the lights, the man, the woman. Okay, let's just watch this one more time. The rain is fine. And the camera movement, yeah, maybe decrease this X motion a bit less. Just a bit. I could say. Yeah, that's the only thing I think I'd change. So get the camera, graph editor, and the Y location, I'd say. Why doesn't it focus on this? Oh, the X, I'm sorry. The X location is the one that we are changing. So so it's the blue one. Is it the blue one? Why did I cancel that? Blue's kind of dramatic. The other two are not. But I think the Y location isn't too bad. to Z, I mean. Let's see. Y is fine. X is fine. Maybe decreases Z by a bit. 0.1, 0.05. That's fine. Keep it low and low. That's fine. So we're done with the scene now. Finally done with the scene and on to rendering our shot. Let's go ahead and explore all these render layers, mist passes, and anything that we could use in the post-processing part. Let's go ahead and take out a test render. Do we change anything? Do we need to make a test render? Not really. Let's see. Don't really need to. Everything is fine. Let's go ahead and move on now. Okay, so let's get our scene set up for rendering. Final rendering. Before I render, I think I will go ahead and try and check out my flickering light once more, because I did change it and I don't want to have rendered it all for 30 or 40 hours and only to find that it looks horrible or something. So everything should look good. Ooh, I've got another idea what I can try. I have another idea. Maybe I should let it go down to 0. So let me see if I can add lighting to this part. Graph editor and limits, not 5 but 1, so it's almost 0. And let me go and see if we can isolate this part and if I can add scene lights. This might make it heavier than needed. Everything else goes black and scene world. Let's do it this. So that's basically Eevee, I'm guessing. Can we play this back? Will the lights change or not? That's weird. Why isn't the light increasing? That should look fine. Let me go ahead and see if I can change this to Eevee. I don't think this render box works on Eevee. We'll see. Go back to this and turn off our lighting, because that would make it slower than we need. Turn on rendered view. see that's the same. And yeah, we don't need this, so let me go ahead and take out our rain. And let me actually go ahead and isolate this and this and this, these three things. Shift H, and we can go into rendered mode. And what about the lights? Do I have lights on a separate? I don't even have the lights on a separate. Let me see, area light, point light, oops, area light, point. 1, 2, put all these on a separate layer. So move these to a new collection called lights. So why can't we see the lights? Okay, so it's fine over here. So let's go ahead and select the things that we want to see. Shift H and make all these visible as well. So in rendered view, now maybe we can go ahead and viewport render animation. See how long this takes. Oh, this should be done in a few minutes. Then we can check out our lighting, I guess. Okay, so we have our render. Let's go ahead and view it. This is good. It's on like nice FPS. The lighting, whoa, it's kind of crazy. Like why even is it going crazy? I know it looks a bit weird without the context of the perspective background and stuff. It's like floating phone booth, but ooh, we actually can see our telephone as well. That's moving a bit faster. This is a really good way to check out your animation instead of rendering the whole thing when you make a little bit of adjustments. So I recently figured this out. Anyway, the lighting, I think I'll just stick with the original, which is this one. I don't know. I decreased it from 5 to 1, the lower limit. So right now it's 5, but 1 looks like it's almost going to shut off. And if I had to compare it with this one, actually doesn't look too bad. I think I'll just increase it just a bit, and that's fine. And I'll keep this. Now looking at the receiver animation, I think I'll increase the speed a bit more or not. I think it's fine. Don't need to look too much into it, and the lighting is fine. Let's go back. This was an Eevee, which doesn't matter, because it's all the same in cycles as well. So I went to the light and I set this to 3. Started at 5, then went to 10, then came back to 3. I'd say 4 is fine. I'm just gonna keep it like that. Let me just check it. It's not too low, is it? I mean, it goes all out. Ah, it looks good. It looks nice. It looks spooky. Okay, save that. Go ahead and unhide everything in the world. And we have our lighting and we have our phone receiver, which is fine.